something to make you look around and say, hey, you know what? I live in a pretty great country. President Trump is calm, on point, on his game. And unlike the last guy, he is competent and coherent.
Come on, man.
We're not bending the knee anymore. We're here to take a stand for God and country.
This is the Steve Gruber Show.
All right, getting into it here, live from the shadow of Detroit. It is the Foxhole of Freedom. Glad to have you on board as we continue this very busy week. Kicking off another brand new hour here, of course, with three big things you need to know. Here's number one. The U.S. has moved to freeze all visa processing for 75 different countries, including Somalia, Russia, and Iran. It's a dramatic and important move to protect our national security. Number two, with the price of silver soaring to unprecedented heights, the U.S. Mint has suspended all sales of the precious metal. They cannot keep up with the price and the roaring demand. And number three, the cry of freedom is in every human soul, as evidenced today in the nation of Iran, where they're willing to die than live oppressed any longer, where they're willing to stand up to bullets and batons with empty hands and scream for freedom. Give me liberty or give me death. It's not just an American ideal. It's a human ideal. The people are taking to the streets trying to be a part of something bigger than themselves, even if it costs them their lives, and many it has, thousands in fact. Nobody's quite sure, tens of thousands possibly, according to some estimates. Thousands have been killed by the Islamic regime cracking down viciously on these protests. It's hard to know just how costly this fight has been because the Islamic regime has cut all access to the internet. Only a few with access to Starlink have been able to get any information out or videos. When the internet is cut, the violence happens in silence. We're being targeted because the regime fears truth, visibility, and, of course, unity. Being seen saving lives, which is what Elon Musk has been trying to do by making Starlink available there. But the internet can only do so much against a regime that is dead set on retaining its power no matter what the cost. This is the kind of evil we're dealing with. This is viral footage coming out of Iran. It's the Islamic regime's military storming a hospital, just to get to protesters who survived the initial crackdown. These thugs tear-gassed the place, fired live weapons, smashed down doors, dragged out the wounded protesters who were trying to survive. Staff and patients beaten with batons in the process. This is the kind of evil that we can't even fathom over here in our first world indignity toward law enforcement. This is the kind of evil that all social justice warriors should be up in arms about. But of course, they're not. Where are all the Free Palestine protesters? Where are all the rallies and the signs and the chants and the cheers? Nowhere to be found. And you know why? Pro-Palestinians can't get behind freeing Iran because the same ideology that enslaved Iran is the one that is behind them in their support of Palestine, terrorism. The left is more passionate about standing up for Islam than they are about actual human rights violations being committed by the Islamic regime against its entire country. Listen to just how brutal the regime really is.
Minority, and I know I've got the parents of friends and family in Iran. You know, they come to your house, shoot you in the head, throw your body in a ditch, and then they present the families with an invoice that you have to pay something like $5,000 to release the body, and part of the invoice includes bullets that were used to kill your loved ones. So you're paying even for the bullets. We are out in numbers. The atmosphere is incredible. People are not going to stop because they're at that stage in their lives where it's better to, this is their words, better to die on your feet than live on your knees.
Yeah, those Free Palestine college activists wouldn't know what that kind of conviction looks like. They want to sit outside in their tents with their Starbucks oat milk lattes and their signs for an ideology that treats its opponents just like the man just described. While Iranian people are fighting to be freed from it. Some people do get it. CNN's Van Jones, believe it or not, gets it. Because even a broken clock is right twice a day. Here he is.
If you like peace, and if you like democracy, and if you like women being free, and if you like innovation, unleash these Persians. Well, I mean, I think what's happening in Iran may be the most important thing happening in the world. You're going to unleash 90 million people who come from one of the most creative, imaginative, and regal cultures in the history of the world, which could help all humanity tomorrow instantly. It's worth the fight to get them free. A lot of stuff you were dealing with today, they invented. And so they just had a lid on their head for half of a century. And so I think a freed up Persian culture can be incredible for technology, can be incredible for humanity, can be incredible for the arts. It could be the end of a lot of BS in the region. You need a free Iranian people. You need the Persians back on the map.
I'm going to need Van Jones to scream that from the rooftops because the rest of his party pretty much silent on the matter. But that's the Democrats for you. Historically, always on the wrong side of an important issue. In 2020, they attacked Donald Trump for taking out the Iranian military leader Soleimani. Remember this? Watch.
Tragically, his actions now put us on the path to another war.
He's been erratic and unsuccessful in almost every previous foreign policy endeavor. This one is the most dangerous of all.
We are not safer today than we were before Donald Trump acted.
We seem to have accomplished what Soleimani was trying to do but couldn't. So in death, he's actually accomplished his goal.
Taking out a bad guy is not a good idea unless you are ready for what comes next.
This is and was an enormous escalation.
Remarkable, isn't it? And in 2025, they attacked him for taking out Iran's nuclear facilities. Both times, like they were doing there, they were predicting he would kick off a regional war. It's time for war. Neither time were they right, of course, because they never are. Now that there's an actual war, a war against the Iranian citizens, they're silent. In 2009, when Barack Obama saw the uprising in Iran at that time, he sided with the mullahs. Donald Trump sides with those yearning to be free. He is on the right side of history. He stands with the people of Iran who have been abused, murdered, raped for 47 years. Listen to this Iranian journalist explain how her people have felt under tyranny when different U.S. presidents have been in power.
You've been obviously focused on this for years. Does this moment feel different than previous moments of unrest?
I even smell the freedom. I even feel like when people go to the streets, they show their face. They take on their own social media. They say that we have no fear because we have nothing to lose. As you mentioned, we have seen 6 major, massive uprising in Iran. In 2009, you mentioned about Nida or Sultan. At the same time, when people were in the street chanting, Obama, Obama, you either with us or with them, President Obama was sending secret letter to Ali Khamenei, the supreme leader of the Islamic Republic. In 2022, when Mahsa got killed, women took to the street. Women, life, freedom.
Yeah.
One of the most progressive slogan. What happened? President Biden was handing out billions of dollars to the same regime that hired killers to target U.S. citizens on U.S. soil. They even asked me to go under witness protection. I mean, it's a joke. So for the first time that we now see the United States of America's president taking a strong action, saying that he is ready to save the lives of Iranians. Iranians are welcoming that.
They certainly are. More on the fight for freedom in Iran in a moment. All right, everyone respects strength. The Iranian people look up to our president, as you heard. The Islamic regime terrified of him today. Millions and hundreds of millions of dollars flowing out of the country right now by all accounts. Why? Because the regime realizes they could be on their last legs, so they're shipping money by the truckload out of the country. Trump has issued a series of threats against the Ayatollah and the IRGC. That has been the latest this week. Listen to this.
We will take very strong action. If they do such a thing, we will take very strong action.
And this strong action you're talking about, what's the end game?
The end game is to win. I like winning.
How do you define that in Iran?
Well, let's define it in Venezuela. Let's define it with al-Baghdadi. He was wiped out. Let's define it with Soleimani. And let's define it in Iran, where he wiped out their Iran nuclear threat in a period of about 15 minutes once the B-2s got there. And that was a complete obliteration, as it turns out, which is what I said initially. Then some questioned it, and they said, Trump was right. So we've been right about everything. We don't want to see what's happening in Iran happen. And, if they want to have protests, that's one thing. When they start killing thousands of people, and now you're telling me about hanging, we'll see how that works out for them. It's not going to work out good.
Yeah. Don't believe those hangings happened as promised yesterday. No word yet because of the limited information coming out. And any threats from Iran against retaliating against the United States, that's a joke. They didn't retaliate when we blew up their nuclear facilities because they know who's got the stronger military capabilities. Nobody's stronger than the United States. If they try to start something with us, they know exactly who will finish it, which is perhaps why they may have backed off on the crackdown against their own citizens, according to Trump. Is it true? Again, we're trying to get information. Here's the president.
We've been told that the killing in Iran is stopping, and it's stopped, and it's stopping. And there's no plan for executions or executions. So I've been told that on good authority. We'll find out about it. I'm sure if it happens, we'll all be very upset, including you will be very upset. But that's just gotten to me, some information that the killing has stopped, that the executions have stopped. They're not going to have an execution, which a lot of people were talking about for the last couple of days. Today was going to be the day of execution. And another piece of information that I think is very important is the leaker has been found.
Yeah, we'll get back to that as well. I don't trust Iran. I don't. I mean, how could you after 46, 47 years? We'll see how far this one goes, but there's one thing I know for sure. The people of Iran trust Donald Trump, who is currently very popular over there. A source on the ground in Iran got this message out using Starlink, trying to link up with the American media. I have to emphasize that among Iranian people, Trump is the most popular person right now. He has so much popularity because of the steps that he took toward preventing the growth of terrorism in the Middle East. They respect him. They respect him. Now, Democrats can try to attack Trump, and they will, call him a dictator, but everyone else around the world knows that he's the only one actually standing up to dictators, which is why Iranians are sharing messages like that one and like this one.
President Trump, I want to thank you on behalf of all the Iranians fighting for our freedom right now, today. No president in U.S. history has supported us like you have.
Yeah, the world is watching. Whether the media wants to admit it or not doesn't matter. The Iranian people aren't asking for sympathy. They're demanding solidarity, truth, and strength and freedom. They know who stands with them and who cowers in silence. History always remembers who spoke up and who went the other way. Freedom doesn't need permission. Tyranny never falls quietly. The cries from Iran should echo in every free nation. Stand with the oppressed or be counted with the oppressors. And right now, the Iranian people are making it clear. They know exactly who is on the side of liberty and who is not. That's a fact. So we'll keep an eye on what's happening in Iran. Look, the president says the attacks against the civilians were going to be curtailed. Again, we're not sure about that. The information coming out very limited. But here are the estimates of the number dead. 3,000 on the low end, 20,000 on the high end. But nobody knows for sure. As you heard that man say, they'll come in, murder your family member, throw them in a ditch, and send you the bill. When that's happening across the country of 92 million people, it's hard to keep up. 200 different cities have been embroiled in these protests. So how do you keep track of who's been killed? And here's what I'll tell you. The information I'm getting is that action by the United States is imminent. Imminent. What does that mean? Well, it means that if I were the Ayatollah or the imams or the IRGC, I'd be a little nervous. We're not going in with boots on the ground. We're not going to invade Iran. But we do have tools like Predator drones and other high-tech weapons. We saw it in Venezuela. If I were in Tehran or elsewhere and part of the regime right now, I'd be concerned because these people yearn for freedom. And there's one person right now who can help them get that more than anyone else, and that's President Trump. We'll keep an eye on it. Hey, let me ask you this. When was the last time you woke up feeling truly energized? Well, that's exactly what Longevity Wellness is all about. Their nutritional shake mix is built with protein, collagen, omega-3s, even bovine colostrum to support your gut, joints, and your brain. It's important. No gimmicks, just clean, science-backed ingredients that help you feel stronger every single day. Start your mornings with longevity. You can go to longevitywellness.co/Gruber. longevitywellness.co/Gruber. The promo code Gruber will save you 10% on your order today. Look, we use it every day in this household. From the kid that's going to, basketball practice now, and he goes and lifts weights. I wish I had been that dedicated when I was his age. Anyhow, he used it because it's a big pick-me-up after he's done with his workouts and his practices. For older folks, it'll help you maintain muscle and bone. Same thing if you're on some sort of a weight loss program. Maintain your muscle and bone. Don't let your body shrivel up. Longevitywellness.co/Gruber. Longevitywellness.co/Gruber. You'll save 10%. When I come back, Ivy will be here in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.